Hi, boys and girls. Thought I would read you a story today. Hope everyone had a wonderful Easter, and hopefully we'll get to see you real soon. This story is called The Last Stop on Market Street, and it's about a little boy who goes on a trip with his grandmother. And first, he doesn't really want to go, but he learns a very important lesson along the way. CJ pushed through the church doors and skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. About dropped the book, friends. Now, the author says the rain freckled his shirt. Now, that means it just has like little dots on it. You've seen freckles on someone's face, and that's the author's way of explaining what his shirt looks like. It says, he ducked under Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus in all this wet? Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but he never saw a straw. I think right here's a straw. That tree trunk, the roots soak up the water, travels up that trunk out to the leaves and gives everything water. Is Nana trying to make CJ feel better about the rain right now and having to stand out in the rain? I think so. She's also letting him know that we need the rain. From the bus stop, he watched water pool on the flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" See, he kind of wants what everybody else has. Now, they're waiting at the bus stop. They're waiting on a bus to come and pick them up and take them where they need to go. Now, here, where we live, we don't really have bus stops and things like that. We have school buses, but they have big buses that drive through the city and pick people up and take them different places. And you see that a lot in bigger cities. Not so much here in Stony Creek in East Tennessee. Says, "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire. And old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. Well, right there's the bus where she's talking about it breathes fire. There's a dragon on that bus. That's a pretty cool bus. Now says, "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear, placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon. She made sure CJ did the same. And if you look closely, you can see the people they're talking about. There's the man with the guitar and the lady with the butterflies in a jar, and Nana made sure that she and CJ spoke to everybody, because that's just a very nice thing to do. That's using your manners. The bus lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. "How come we always gotta go here after church?" CJ said. "Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere." "I feel sorry for those boys," she told them. "They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the sunglass man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat." CJ stared out the window, feeling very sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. Now, why do you think CJ feels sorry for himself? See, he wants to go and be like everybody else. He wants to go play. But his Nana has something else for him to do. And she keeps telling him, she's like, you should feel sorry for those other kids because you get to meet some very cool people. That's what she's saying right there. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. "How come that man can't see?" "Boy, what do you know about seeing?" Nana told him. "Some people watch the world with their ears." "That's a fact. Their noses, too," the man said, sniffing the air. It's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Now, how does she explain? Turn and talk to your parents and tell them how you think she explains that man being blind, but he can still see. His eyes may not work, but his ears do. And as his nose works, he can still smell things and hear things, touch things. So that's how he can still see. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood him back. Sure wish I had one of those, he said. Nana set down her knitting. What for? You've got the real life thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask that man if he'll play us a song? And see those two boys? They've got one of those little fancy earbuds plugged into their phone, and they get to listen to their own music, and CJ's a little bit jealous of that. And his Nana tells him, boy, you don't need that. You've got the real thing. And there's a man with a real guitar. He can play music for them. So let's see if he does. CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking the strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered, I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. So they're going to just really listen to that music. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. So that music, it took him to different places. He could close his eyes, and he could see birds flying, butterflies, and he could hear waves crashing. Music can do that to you. If you find a good song, it can take you about anywhere. CJ's learning that lesson right now. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. So he heard his song, he's had a good time, and now they're at their destination, the last stop on Market Street. See what is the last stop on Market Street and why this place is so special. So CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows and boarded-up stores. He reached for Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what is beautiful. As you look around, you see the beautiful birds. They stand out a lot better. And all those broken old buildings, they tell a story and have beautiful sky and still beautiful colors and even artwork with the graffiti. And she's telling him, just look around. May be dirty, but there's still some beauty in there. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arching over the soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found the beautiful where he never thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the walls. So he's learning to see beauty wherever he is, and right there's the rainbow, and it's coming across right here. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad we came. What makes him glad that they came on this bus trip? So he gets to see some of his awesome friends. And they're actually going to a soup kitchen, boys and girls, and that's a place where people can go and volunteer and help friends that don't have a whole lot of food or place to live, and they give them a hot meal. And he's learning a valuable lesson that it's good to help people, and he meets lots of new interesting people along the way. And that makes him happy that he finally got there. He thought his Nana might laugh her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and said, "Me too, CJ. Now, come on." So she's glad they got there. There they are in the back. They're helping to serve soup to friends that may not have enough to eat. And he's learning to be kind. Be kind and think of other people. And that's a very, very important lesson. And then here is the very last page of the story. No words to read. But it shows Nana and CJ back at the bus stop, waiting for that bus to come. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that story. And I hope you always take the time to see how beautiful the things around you are and how wonderful the people around you are as well. And I hope you're having a wonderful day, and hopefully we get to see you real soon. Love you. Bye.